Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another Digimon video. So today is going to be a deck profile and gameplay showcase video. So yeah, it's just another different style of me showcasing a deck and showing it off. This time it actually has gameplay to kind of show you, hey, this deck actually kind of works. And Examon is a really underrated deck, especially now these days, considering there's a lot of other really strong decks, but I feel like the new tools that we got in BT21 really help elevate the deck to new heights. The big and most important card obviously being the Dracomon X Antibody, because not only does it give us a free evolution either at the start of our main phase or when we digivolve this card off of a Dracomon, but the fact that we have the coveted end of turn DNA as an inheritable is what's making this card absolutely insane. So as far as what the deck is doing on a general basis, the eggs are just draw power. Nothing real special about it, just draw cards. It's attached to our archetype, so we kind of just want to use it because it's pretty easy to use. Then I'm going to be running the BT21 Dracomon. This is at 3 copies because this is arguably one of the worst Dracomons, but it's still really good for what the deck wants, either helping with card draw when it's on the field, or as an inheritable helping with memory gain when we're playing out our other Dramon named cards. And as I already mentioned, I'm going to be running a full suite of Dracomon X, because this card just is insane at tying the whole deck together to make it as cohesive as possible. And then when it comes to the last rookie, that's going to go to the EX3 Dracomon because it's the search engine for the deck, and its inheritable ability is actually pretty sneaky on being able to gain plus 1000 DP that the opponent might not actually be able to interact with, even if our Digimon gets de-digivolved or the source gets removed. As long as this ability activated, it actually sticks on our Digimon for the turn, which could be pretty annoying for the opponent to deal with. But the main use is the search power, of course. And then when it comes to the level 4s, I'm going to be running the BT20 Cordramon suite and nothing else. I don't really feel like the deck needs anything else because of just how good these cards are. So each one does have their own native ability. So the blue-red one has jamming for some quick easy chip damage, and the green one has raid, so that way we could try to control the opponent's field, especially their low-level Digimon if they can't stop us. So they both have a your turn ability to be able to digivolve into basically either Wingdramon or Grounddramon for a little bit cheaper when we play a Digimon of the specific color. So again, it's just helping us make some good combo plays to digivolve into our higher stages a little bit more efficiently. Then when it comes to the level 5s, I'm actually going to be running a little bit of a split between the EX3 counterparts and the BT20 counterparts. So I'm going to be running of an EX3 level 5 and then 3 of the BT20 level 5 for both Wing and Grounddramon. So Wingdramon is really good because he has evade, which is nice. Then he also counts as a level 6 for our Examon DNAs, on top of the fact that he has an end of turn DNA himself, so that way we have more combo potential between having it as an inheritable and having it just on a Digimon to be able to do for us. Then when it comes to the BT20, it's just in here for pretty decent flexibility, having an on-play and when digivolving ability to basically just delete a low-level body, which is pretty decent, can help snipe some floodgates, and make it so that your opponent's field is just a little bit weaker. Then he also has the ability to be treated as basically a level 6 for our Examon DNAs. Then his inheritable ability is pretty simple, just security attack plus for more punch factor. And then when it comes to the Grounddramons, the EX3 counterpart has blocker, and then all the same good stuff that the Wingdramon from EX3 was doing. And then when it comes to the BT20 Grounddramon, it has that same style of ability where it's on play and when digivolving to, this time, suspend one of the opponent's Digimon or Tamer down, and then keep it suspended. So that's really strong, especially since there's not a whole lot of ways to interact with Tamers, so it actually is a way to interact with the Tamer in a meaningful way to try to slow the opponent down as much as possible. And then it also is going to be counting as basically a pseudo level 6 for our Examon. This time it's going to be counted as Breakerdramon, and then its inheritable ability is dealing some pretty decent damage because during all turns, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle, we get to trash the top of their security, which is good both offensively and defensively. Then when it comes to the level 6s, this is where things get a tiny bit spicy because I'm going to be running 1 copy of Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode from Starter Deck 9. So this card seems pretty unconventional, but the fact that it has the Dramon name means it still kind of works with the deck. It's in our colors, so it still kind of works with the deck there. And its Wind Digivolving ability actually has some really good combo play for how our new tools like to work. So when we Digivolve into this card, we get to split out a level 4 or lower blue and or level 4 or lower green Digimon from our Digimon's Digivolution source for free. So getting those extra bodies out is absolutely insane, especially with our new core Dramons. It actually lets us use the Your Turn ability to Digivolve up by an effect because we get to play out the other Digimon, which it would see. So that's kind of where the combo play with Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode is nice to have because it could just extend stuff and do more. So it's not necessarily needed for the deck. If you want to take this out and run something else, by all means do so. I just found it to be a nice cute little tech card that also lets me try to save on my other in-engine level 6s for when I need them for specific abilities. Then when it comes to the in-engine level 6s, I'm going to be running 4 of each Slayer Dramon and Breaker Dramon. So the Slayer Dramons, I am going to be splitting them between the EX3 counterparts and the BT20 because they both have really good utility to them compared to Breaker Dramon, where the BT20 Breaker Dramon is very clearly the best Breaker Dramon. But as far as what EX3 Slayer Dramon is doing, this card has the ability to kind of just unsuspend himself when he becomes suspended. Pretty basic. That's kind of just Examon's whole shtick is when he becomes suspended, just unsuspend him. This is kind of where it starts. And he also has the very unique ability where at the start of the opponent's main phase, we basically get to suspend one of our Digimon to goad one of the opponent's Digimon into attacking, so it could potentially just ruin their whole raising play because we could interrupt it with this type of ability to force that Digimon to then attack and become kind of pseudo-useless. So it's just a really strong ability to have that the opponent might actually not be anticipating, and it's nice that his inheritable ability gives our Examon access at that effect, so we have the ability to use this whether we're using Slayer or Examon. And then when it comes to the new Slayer Dramon, this is a pretty good card in of itself because he natively has Piercing. His on-play and Wind Digivolving ability source strips the opponent's Digimon, so that way we could take away cards and abilities that we want them to not have, on top of the fact that we then get to delete a Digimon with no Digivolution sources, so if we source strip something enough, we could also potentially get rid of it. Then the inheritable ability is really powerful for this deck because it's basically super evade. So this is the protective backbone where when our Examon would leave the field, we just suspend him to not leave. This triggers once per turn, but the fact that the deck has multiple ways to unsuspend our Digimon when it becomes suspended means that it's not really a cost to protect our Digimon. And then when it comes to the Breaker Dramon, the BT20 version natively has Blocker. Then his on-play and Wind Digivolving ability suspends the opponent's Digimon or Tamers down. We get to pick up to 2 of them. And the added bonus is then one of our Digimon can attack, which is really good because we have lots of flexibility on how we actually can use that attack. But the important thing with this card is its All Turns ability, which it also gives as an inheritable to our Examon, so that way our Examon has access at this ability as well, where when one of our Digimon with Dramon Examon deletes one of the opponent's Digimon by battle, we get to delete one of their other suspended Digimon or their suspended Tamer down, which is incredibly strong because Tamer Hate is very rare and very powerful, and the fact that this card gives us that Tamer Hate is what makes it arguably the better Breaker Dramon. Then when it comes to the Examons, I'm going to be running 2 Examon Aces. This is a really good card because, yes, it's an ace. Yes, it kind of synergizes with Slayer, goading the opponent's Digimon to force the ace out. So there's a lot of good synergy here. We do have to keep in mind it is a Blast DNA, so it does have to be with Breaker and Slayer specifically, but that's kind of where the new level 5s come in. But as far as what this card is actually doing, he's keyword Soup Incarnate, having Raid, Piercing, Blocker, and Evade. So we don't really need to waste our time with them as inheritables when, if we're using this card, it just has it all anyway. And then those inheritables just become wasted otherwise. But when we digivolve into them, more specifically DNA digivolve into them, whether that's actually Blast DNA or a normal DNA, doesn't matter, we can return all of the opponent's Digimon with the highest DP to the bottom of their deck. Good removal, especially on an ace. And he has that classic Examon thing where when any Digimon becomes suspended, this one unsuspends. It's just the whole suspend, unsuspend synergy that the deck kind of plays around with, which is what we saw off of the original EX3 Examon at its very last ability. So that's kind of where this whole game plan and gameplay originated from, on suspending to unsuspend. This Examon also can suspend one of the opponent's Digimon down when he becomes suspended, and he'll also unsuspend himself. But he also has a nice when digivolving ability that ideally we wanted DNA for, because then we get full access at this effect, which it's really powerful because if we just digivolve normally, we could still place a blue or green Dramon named card from our hand to the bottom of its Digivolution source to increase its overall utility. But if we DNA'd, we also get the added benefit to play out a blue or green Dramon named Digimon with 12,000 DP or less from our hand for free. So we could immediately spawn a secondary body to do very oppressive things with, especially since a lot of the new stuff have on-play effects that we could utilize. And then the last Digimon of the deck is going to be one copy of Examon X Antibody. It's a very fantastic card, especially comboed with the old Examon. It's not as good off of the ace, but it still can be okay if you're in a pinch and you really just need to use this card specifically. So he has kind of keyword soup, not as much as the ace, which is why it's not as good on the ace, because he'll have blocker, piercing, and evade himself. He has a when digivolving ability to suspend all of the opponent's Digimon and Tamers down, and then we get to delete one of their suspended Digimon or Tamers. So again, more Tamer hate and Digimon hate is really good. Then his all turns ability is that whole suspend unsuspend thing, just with an added twist, because when this Digimon suspends, it unsuspends, and then as long as Examon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution source, we also get to burn their top security card. Yeah, it's pretty good at helping dealing damage for basically doing nothing. Then when it comes to the Tamers, it's pretty simple because we have one good Tamer that really helps with the deck, because the deck still has a little bit of a consistency problem, but that's why BT3 Davis is in here to try to help shore up that weakness while also being the deck's dedicated memory setter. And that's why we're also running Jade Memory Boost, because it's basically Davis but option form. And it's a memory boost, so it'll give us the memory back later. And then the last option of the deck is going to be 2 copies of Unleash the Dragon Gene, because it's kind of like the trap for the deck, so it adds a little bit of extra counterplay for what the opponent could potentially do. Its main ability just lets us play one of our Dramon or Examon texted cards for a reduced cost, so it just helps save basically 1 memory. It's kind of like a Hammer Spark in that way. And then this card gets placed in the battle area, and the trap is when any of our Digimon with Dracomon or Examon in its text would leave the battle area, we get to use the delay effect to have 2 of our Digimon DNA digivolve into an Examon. So that's pretty good at just removing the target that was going to leave and then playing out an Examon that isn't going to leave, ideally. That'll also disrupt the opponent. And then the security ability is pretty simple, where we just get to play a Dracomon in its name from our hand or trash for free, which is really good at just spawning an extra body. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the whole deck profile portion. I tried to get through that pretty quickly but concisely, so that way you have a good idea on what this deck is doing. So let's just hop on over into a game so we can actually see what this deck is doing and what it's capable of in action. We have our high-end pieces. We have 2 searching tools. We're going first. It's risky. We could manage, though. Because I could digivolve into here and right... no, I think because I'm going first, I mulligan this. Okay, this is a little bit better. Well, it is and it isn't. We kind of just need 1 more piece. So, like, having our level 4s would be really good. I'm going first, so I could actually use the Evo for 1 to try to anti-tempo the opponent a little bit, because otherwise I would be giving them more memory than what I reasonably want to. So this isn't, like, terrible. Not exactly what I want to see. It's not bad, but it's not what I want to see. So I'm really going to have to rely on the draw off of the evolution here to try to get me going. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a little bit of a rough spot. Okay, so it's a Terriermon deck. So they just try to ignore everything. They don't have that much protections. Ooh, that's interesting tech. So they're most likely going to take the Medieval Gallant. So I really am looking to draw into some sort of search tech. So I do have a couple of search techs that I want to draw. Oh, interesting. So they might already have one in hand. This is a pretty good draw. It doesn't exactly help us here, but it's still something. So we could draw and still hit nothing. So we're just going to have to hard play this, pass over 3. Okay, so they're still searching. So they're probably going to take the Rapidmon. I don't think the oh, well, I guess the Searcher Terriermon's good also. This is pretty good for us. I probably make this attack just because this card's basically null and void on the field because he could just move out and then almost any of his Terriermon cards kill me. Yeah, so just getting the check is probably good enough. And then dig for maybe something. A level 4 is okay. Only target, but it's still okay. Missing out on the Unleash the Dragon Gene would have been very nice to have, though. Or the Davis. Both of them are really good cards. So now I at least have a level 4 to go up the line because I could move this out, Digivolve for free into a Cordramon, then hard play a hard play Groundramon, use the effect Digivolve into Wingdramon, and then, oh, I'm missing an Examon in my hand. If I had Examon, then I just end of turn DNA and my life is easy. Okay, that's a pretty safe swing for them. Like, them not having their Tamer or a Tamer is pretty okay for us. I'm not going to gain the memory anyway. I don't think I really care about this. So I could move out, Digivolve for free, hard play, kill something, Digivolve into this. I don't know if that's doing enough though. We could try it. See if we could do something. Okay, we found the DNA, so we're pretty good. So now what? I just hard play Wingdramon, kill this, Digivolve into Cordramon? Or Digivolve into Groundramon? Yeah. And then that could stunlock his Digimon at the very least. So delete a 6000 DP or less. Reduce the Digivolution cost. Digivolving into ground for 3, so pay only 1. And then I get to lock his card down. And then I can end of turn DNA. Yeah, we'll just play this out. Does he even have blocker? I don't even think he has blocker, now that I think about it. Oh, he unsuspends himself. Okay. then this is 2 checks. That kind of sucks. He has a lot of memory to work with, and I am opening myself up to a medieval gallant play. So hopefully them passing on the medieval Gallantmon definitely doesn't mean they actually have one in their hand. That de-digivolves me. But they don't have any of the protections or immunities. So I could probably just have this swing into it. Or I could, like, Digivolve into Slayer and then trash the bottom 3 Digivolution sources in Pierce or something. Oh, he's Digivolving. Into Gold Rapid. Trying to choke me? That's pretty good, because I could either Dragon Gene... I'll just Digivolve here. It's probably easier. Another Search, and then I could potentially End of Turn DNA? No, because this is Groundgermon. So I would need to... So I get to trash 3 and then delete 1 with no Digivolution sources. So 1, 2, 3. So he's 1 too many. So if I go Breaker, I get a Suspend to lock it down. And then punch into their Digimon. Yeah, the big problem is I don't have blocker on this stack. This is the tricky part. So maybe I just crack the memory boost to play out a memory boost. I found another Examon, so that's exactly what I wanted. So I could swing into security. I'm trying to bait out the ace. I know they have the ace. Like, otherwise there's no reason for this pause. So if I could bait out the ace, I'm in a very commanding position. Oh, I forgot. Rapidmon decreases my Digimon's DP. But isn't his Digimon still locked down and it can't unsuspend? Or did that fade on his turn? So I might have just misplayed. Okay, he's letting it through anyway. So I could Digivolve into Slayer and then end of turn DNA. So we will just get rid of these 3. So that way Armor Purge is basically useless. I could have made an additional attack. I am very well aware of that. So I could lock something out of having blocker. Honestly, I think it is just hard play the Slayer. Oh, oops, I messed up. That's fine. We're recovering. Still no blocker in the stack, but I could suspend my Digimon to force them. Oh. that's annoying. And then we trade. Because now I'm only 16. And then his tamer gets deleted? Sure. And then I could just use this to choke him to 1. Try to dig out whatever I need. So probably another Examon. Because I could always just potentially, like, hard play to maybe set something up. Or I could just, like, raw Digivolve. I don't have to DNA, exactly. Just to increase my sources. That I don't have anything to Digivolve. So he gave me a lot of memory. So I could either play passively or I could kind of go a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have anything. So it costs 5 to Digivolve. I might as well just search. Found the level 4 that I unfortunately missed out on. I was just trying to see if maybe I have a DNA play. Doesn't look like I do. So place one of these cards to the bottom. So I could put blocker on the bottom, or I could put gaining plus 2000 DP. So I think blocker is the correct answer. Actually, maybe blocker wasn't, because I could just Digivolve into Examon X. So he's going to suspend both my Digimon down. So I might as well just do this. So from this position, it just makes it that much more difficult. So he can't attack, otherwise his last security is basically burnt. When this Digimon suspends, it unsuspends if Examon or X antibody trash the top card. Yeah, so they basically just can't attack. They have to try to de-Digivolve, but they can't. So, Digivolve for 2? Oh, Digivolve for 1. Oh, because that's the other one. So, nothing to suspend, and he can't minus 5k because there's no tamers on the field. And then Rapid X. Yeah, but now I just block you. And then you Digivolve back down. And then from this position, I should pretty much easily win the game. So I'm going to break the Armor Purge. so that way he can't ace me. And there you go. Pretty easy. Lots of flexible tools to kind of just do whatever you feel like, and I thought that was a pretty decent showcase on the potential and power of what this deck is able to do. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, because there's more that this deck is capable of doing. So if you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to always leave that like and subscribe. Feel free to tell me your thoughts about the deck down in the comments below, and as always, I hope to see you all in the next video. Later.